Thank you for joining us. In our video, we'll be looking on a few questions related to consumer arithmetic. And our first question says, a company pays a basic wage of 31,200 for a 40-hour week. Overtime is paid at time and a half. We have to calculate the basic hourly rate and the overtime rate. And there's another section, if an employee worked 20 hours overtime in a certain week, to calculate the employee's overtime earning for the week and the employee's total earning for the week. As in answering the first part, we need to write down some of our given values. So we know basic wage, and that's 31,200. We also know overtime. You can say OT, paid at time and a half, so it's 1.5 of the regular rate. We also know that the formula to find wage is equal to the rate, hourly rate, multiplied by the number of hours worked. Alright, so in this scenario, what we got was the basic wage, and we also got the hours worked, which was 40. So we need to set it up like how we have it, which is 1,200 is equal to the rate. If you don't know the rate, you can use the R times that by 40. Oh man, 40 not 400. If anyone would work 400 hours. Alright, in order for us to find the rate, and we see that the rate is being multiplied by the number of hours, we need to do the opposite, which is to divide both sides by 40. Alright, so this 31,200 divided by 40. Alright, 40 into 12, 40 into this number, it will go 780. In this case, our rate is equal to 780. Now, in finding overtime, we know overtime is time and a half. So our OT rate will be equal to time and a half. We can say 1.5 times 780. And that would be equal to 1,170. That would be how we calculate the overtime rate. In the second section now, in which we're told this will be a B. We know we have an A right there. Our overtime hours is 20 hours. All right. And this is a follow-up, and we know that the rate is at time and a half. All right. So overtime pay will be equal to time and a half multiplied by the rate times the hours worked. I see that we already found what is overtime rate, which is at 1,170. We can just substitute that as 1,170. We know the number of hours, which is 20, multiply that by 20. And our overtime pay in this will be equal to 23,400. All right. So we're also asked to calculate is the employee's total earning. So writing right here now, your net salary equal to basic wage plus our OT pay. All right. So our basic wage, which was 31,200, plus our OT pay, which is 23,400. Adding both those together, our salary should be $54,600. All right. Now that answers our first question. On our second question, it says a company pays at a regular rate of $3.75 per hours. What would an employee get that worked 72 hours per week, where the regular week is equal to 60 hours? And we have to calculate the overtime pay if the company pays at double rate, and what would be the employee's total earning for the week. Alright, so our regular rate equal to 375, and the hours work equal to 72. We know that 72, to calculate the regular, you would minus it from 60, and the remaining would be 12 hours. When we did that, this 12 hours would represent the number of overtime done, seeing that 60 hours would represent the regular hours. Regular hours equal to 60, sorry, and OT equal to 12. And we know OT is paid at double. Can take times 2. At a regular pay is equal to rate, which is 375, times the number of hours worked, which is 60, and that would give us 22,500. Alright, so the OT pay now is equal to 2 times the regular rate multiplied by the number of hours worked, which is 12, will give us 9,000. Alright, so the net salary now equal to the regular rate, which is 22,500 plus 9,000. That would be equal to 31,500. Alright, and that is our second question. Alright, so our third question now says a new worker wants to inquire about his salary if he worked 90 hours total in a 40 hours regular week and sees tax deduction where NIS is 3%, NHT is 2%, and education tax is 2%. Show a breakdown of his salary. Alright, so for this question, what was not included was the regular rate or the double rate. Alright, so for this question, I'm going to use, it's a follow-up on the previous question. Regular rate is equal to 375, double is equal to 750. Alright, with that now we should be able to calculate the tax of the employee. So we know the employee worked 90 hours. Alright, so regular hours equal to 40 hours. NIS is equal to 3%. NHT 2%. Education tax is equal to 2%. Alright, so the basic salary now is equal to the 375. We'll time that by 40, and we would get 15,000. So the overtime pay now, it's at double, so it's 2 times 375. I got that to be 750, time that by 50 hours overtime. That would be 37,500. Alright, so the net salary, which is included on the basic salary plus the overtime, that would give us 2,500. Alright, so this would be his net salary. Alright, so is NIS, which is 3%, so 100. Alright, time that now by the 52,500 over 1. Alright, you see we're able to cancel our zeros, so we can do that as well. Right. From the 100 in denominator, calculate those in the numerator. Alright, what our NIS contribution will be is 1,575. Our NHT, which is 2%, after times that, alright, we still need to times that by our 5,500 1, and we will have 1050. Alright, so when we have our salary now, and our salary, which is should be a minus easy deduction, 52,500 subtracted by our 1,575 plus 1050. Subtract our salary from these figures right here. We are left back with 49,875. Okay. Left back with this salary now. We should calculate our education tax, which is 2%. So it's 2 over 100 times our 49875 over 1. Alright, our contribution for this would be 997.5. Alright, so our take-home salary will be the 49875 minus 997.5, which is equal to 48,877.5. Alright, so this would be our take-home salary. What we did was the NIS and both the NHT, they are taken out from the net salary or the gross salary, which would include the overtime and the basic rate. After those two are deducted, then that remaining or sub salary is then subtracted from what our education tax contribution should be. Looking now on our fourth question, and we also realize that there isn't a rate. So the question said another employee earned 13,500 in a particular week. How many hours of overtime did she work? So we're going to set the basic wage equal to 250. OT at double. Alright. Now we have a salary, we have a wage, so we can check the rate or the number of hours in which this employee did. Basic wage. Alright. After this 250 would represent our regular rate. Basic wage now is the 13,500. Our regular hours is 40 hours. Right? Then our wage will be equal to the 250 and 40, give us a 10,000. Alright, so 10,000 would be the regular wage. We know that overtime pay, that is equal to the total salary subtracted from basic wage. Right? Because if basic wage is equal to the regular rate and the if total salary is equal to basic wage plus overtime pay, then we can say overtime pay is equal to the total salary subtracted from the basic wage. All right. So now we know the total salary, which was the 13,500, and basic wage, which was 10,000. So the overtime pay should be 3,500. With that said, now our overtime pay 3,500. That's equal to we know that overtime is paid at double, so it's 2 times 250 times hours, right? We want to know how many hours she had worked. All right, so we have 2 times 250 give us 500, and we have this 3,500 here times the hours worked. Divide both sides to tell us the number of hours the employee worked. Realize that we get 7 hours in overtime. So the employee worked 7 hours in overtime and the 40 hours for regular. All right, moving on to the next question now. It says a van which cost 150,000 was later sold for 180,000. We have to calculate the profit received and the profit percentage. All right. So no profit, which can be P equal to the selling price subtracted from the cost price. So the person sell it for 180,000. The cost price is 150,000. The profit would be 30,000. Alright. It also asks us for the profit percentage. So now profit percentage is equal to profit over the cost price times 100%. That's equal to the 30,000 cost price, which is 150. And if we're able, we can cancel zeros. Alright. Then we would left with 300 divided by 15. That's equal to 20%. Alright, so the profit is 3,000 and the profit percentage would be 20% profit made on the van. So our next question says, a house which cost 2 mil was later sold for 1,600,000, where to find the percentage loss. Alright, so loss is equal to the cost price minus the selling price. Alright, so the item costs 2 million minus 1,600,000. You know that's equal to 400,000. The loss percentage now equal to loss over CP times 100 percentage. Quite similar to the profits. Canceling our zeros. We get 40 over 2, also equal to 20%. All right, moving on to our next question now. Which asks us, it says, an item of jewelry marked at $900 is discounted by 20% for cash payment. For to calculate the discount and the price that is equal to 12,400. GCT equal to 15%. All right, so finding what the GCT would be, which is an added tax. GCT would be 1,860. So 1,860. Adding that now for the selling price, it would be the cost price add that now to our GCT. All right, and that answers the question. All right, so GCT is usually added to the cost price. It's not to be added into the price of the item that the company may charge. Our next question says the price of an item inclusive of the GCT is $125. If GCT is charged at a rate of 15%, what was the price of the item before GCT? So basically, I wanted to know what's the cost price before the selling price was added to before the GCT was added to the cost price to give us the selling price. All right, so we know the price of the item, 125, all right, over 1. All right, so this 125 would still be out of 100%, but then now we realize that it is added to our 15%, so we can say 115, right? We can also write this as 125, which would also represent the GCT of 15%, and we time that by 100 over 1. So this 100 would show us that there was a price added to the price of the GCT was added, right? The 15% was added to make it 115%, 115% over the price. Just because we want to find what that price was, we can set it out like this. All right, so either way that we work the problem, our answer will be equal to 108.69. All right, so the cost before GCT is equal to 108.69. Alright, just to check what the GTT is, 15 100 times 108.69. The GTT would be $16.30. So if we add 108.69 plus 16.30, it would give us 125. May need to round it off, but it will give us that 125. All right, so the cost before be $108.69 plus this GTT of 16.30. Adding those two together, we would get the 125. All right, for this question, it says Amanda receives 10% commission on her first 5,000. If her sales amounted to 18,000, what was her commission? All right, so the 10%, 10 over 100 times 5,000. We know that would be equal $500. All right. So the balance of the sale would be equal to 18,000 minus 5,000. That's equal to 13,000. All right. So we're able to calculate it, even though we know it would also increase. So we can say 10 over 100 times 13,000 over 1. Calculating. The total $500 plus 1,300, that will be equal to all right. Moving now on to our next question. It says calculate the interest to be paid on a loan of $650,000 for 4 years at a simple interest rate at 7% per annum, and calculate the total amount to be paid. All right, just to write our formula, I, which is simple interest, is equal to principal times rate times time over 100. All right, what do we know? We know our principal amount, and that's 650,000. We also know our rate, and that's 7% per annum. Right? We know our time, that's equal to 4 years. We don't know our simple interest. All right. So in setting it out, it's equal to 650,123 times our rate and our time. This is over 100. We're able to cancel in our denominator, zeros in our numerator. Multiplying this figure across, we would get 1, 8, 2, 0, 0, 0. And let me just double check. All right, lovely. And that would answer our question. So they're to pay simple interest of 182,000. That's a lot. Our next question asks us to say the simple interest of 6,750 for 9 years on a rate of 5%. We are to calculate the principal amount borrowed. All right. So we still realize that we're using our simple interest formula. I is equal to P R T over 100. All right. However, in this case, we're asked to find the principal. All right. So we would need to transpose, and that would be usually when we are finding any of the value, it would be where it's the interest times 100 over our principal. Oh, we are actually trying to find our principal, so it's rate times time. So P would be equal to I times 100 divided by R times T. You know what? I is equal to 6750. We know our time is equal to 9 years. We know our rate is equal to 5%. And we are trying to find our principal amount. All right, so P is equal to times by 100 and by our 9 times 5. And so it's 675 and our principal amount is 115,000. All right, so would be paying back a principal amount of 15,000. All right, moving on to our next question now. And it asks us now that the simple interest on an investment of 40,000 for 3 years amounted to 6,000. So what rate of interest was paid? All right, so this question, trying to find our rate. So R is equal to I times 100 over our principal times our time. Right. You know, our simple interest is I as well, equal to 6,000, and we know our principal amount is equal to 40,000. We know our time is equal to 3 years, and we're trying to find what R is. All right, so our R is equal to our 6 times 100 by 40 zeros. Is equal to 5%. Our rate is equal to 5% per annum. All right. Our next question says calculate the time taken to repay a principal amount of $1,000 at an interest of 331 at a rate of 10% per annum. So we are trying to calculate the time. The time is equal to, so the idea is that when we're transposing a formula to find either our PRT, it will be I times 100. We just interchange the other variables that are unknown. You know, our principal is equal to 1,000. We know our interest is equal to 331, and we know our rate is equal to 10%. And we're trying to find our time. Time is equal to 331 times 100 over 1,000 times 10. Can't see no 0. 331 over 100. Our years would be 3.31 of our years. We know that figure isn't so well rounded, but that would be the answer. There would need to be some other simplifying or restructuring. That would be what we get by just applying the formula. All right, so it says calculate the compound interest on investing $600 for 2 years at 7% per annum. All right, so the compound interest formula is A stands for accrued amount minus our principal. So we would need to apply the accrued amount formula first, which is accrued amount equal to principal times 1 plus rate over 100 all raised to the number of years. So our principal, which is equal to $600, our time is equal to 2 years, which is also our N, and our rate is equal to 7% per annum. Putting that now in the formula is equal to P600 1 plus 7% over 100 all to 2 years. All right, so A is equal to 600. So we can work out 7 percentage as a fraction. It would be 1 plus 0.07 squared. So A is equal to 600 plus 1.07. Right. After we add the 1 plus a 0.07, we get 1.07. We're still going to apply this in the bracket, then we raise it to the power. Let's raise it to the power first, my apologies, exponent, and then we multiply the term by the bracket. All right, so this would be 1.449. After we square this in the bracket, we get 1.449. This would be a multiplication, so A would be equal to 686.94. All right, so now we can calculate our compound interest. A is equal to 686.94 subtracted from 600, and we would get a compound interest of $86.94. All right, this would be the compound interest after the 2 years. All right, moving on to our next question. It says calculate the book value of a new maxi taxi costing $44,000 after 3 years if it depreciates each year by 13%. All right, so we need to calculate the value of the car each year. All right, so we know it depreciates by 13%. Yeah, let me see now. All right, so we can find the amount, which would be the 13 over the 100 times the 44 over 1. All right, or we can say 87 over 100 times 44. All right, so when we do it like this, we already subtracted the 13%, right? Out of the 100. So when we do like this, what we are finding would be the value of the item after the first year. With this, we're just finding what the 13% is, and then we subtract it from the 44,000. Let's try to do it both ways. So we say, we can calculate the 0, cancel these zeros. 13 times 440, and the 13% is equal to 5 to the 7, 20. We need to calculate now 4. we are left back with 38,280. Or doing it like this, yeah, that 87 times, and we should still get back the 38 to 80. All right. So what we did, we subtracted the 13%, and out of 100, and we know we have 100%, the 13% depreciation. It's basically as if we are getting a discount or a loss. We would subtract that percent, and the remaining would be the cost of the item that we would be paid. All right. And this would be for year one. For year two now, it would be same 87. And now the new value be 38,280. One. All right. So if we are not able to do any canceling, we can just multiply across, then we divide. All right. We will be getting 30303.6 to be for year two. So 87 over 100 times 300 and sorry, 3.6 over 1. All right, so we still have to just multiply across, then we divide. This will be for year 3. All right, let's just work it and over this side, which would still give us the same answer if we did it by subtracting. All right, so we had gotten this for year 1. All right, so it should be the 15 over the 100 and times this by 38280 over 1. So it's 15 times 38280 divided by 100. What we would need to subtract would be 5742. We have the 38280 subtracted. We getting some different figures. Let's go again. 38280. Alright, so it seems like getting some different figures, but I would just stick to this option. I may have to check this question again, but we would stick with this option, which is that we deducted the 13% each time. Oh my, so I wrote 15 when it should be 13% right here. That's where the magic is. All right, so let's check back our answer. So it's 13 times 38280. Divide that now by 100. It's 4976.4. Awesome. All right. So we see that we were able to get this, and this would be year 2. This was year 1. All right. 13 over 100 times this new figure, which is the second year depreciated value. 13 times all right, so this 4329.46. Subtracting that, which is 33303.6 minus 4329.46. And we were still able to get our 28974.13 for year 3. All right. So in realizing that the 13% depreciation, as we are able to represent our 13%, we did it in the first year. Second year now, it depreciated to 38,280. We got that depreciated value of 4,976.4. Subtracting that now from the costed item for that, it would give us our second year depreciated cost. I do that to find our third year. Awesome. Moving now to our next question, which says Alvin bought a new car for 120,000. Its value depreciates at a rate of 10% per annum. Calculate the value of the car after year 1, year 2, and year 3. All right. So, in looking on this question, all right. So we know year 1. Let's apply it by using this formula to just tell us the exact value that the car will be after year 1, rather than just finding that 10% and then we subtract it from the cost of the item. After year 1, it should be 108. All right, that would be the cost of the item for year 1. Year 2 now. We see we're able to just cancel our 0 in our numerator. All right. All right, year 3 now, and see we're able to show the depreciated value after each of the years. All right, and so it asks us, so this would be the value after each year. So the value after year 1, 108,000. Value after year 2, 97,200. Value after year 3, 87,480. Right on the dollar sign. All right, moving on to our next question, which asks us to calculate the compound interest on $6,000 if invested for 3 years at 12.5%. All right, so we know some person might say the 12.5 and say, ooh, that's a fraction. We still have to apply the applied amount formula. We know it's right in here, A is equal to P times 1 plus R over 100 times N, which is the number of year. Our principal is $6,000. Our rate is equal to 12.5 annum, or we can say 12.5, and our time is equal to 3 years. All right, applying it now in our formula, A is equal to 6,000, 1 plus 12.5 over 100, and the number of years is 3. All right, so A is equal to 6,000. So the 1 plus the 1.25 would give us 1.125. So we know 12.5 is equal to 0.125 as a decimal fraction. Finding now the cube root of that, A is equal to 6,000 times 1.423.8. All right, so our accurate amount should be 6,000 times this number, which gives us 8542.968. Just trying to write it all of it out. We know our compound interest now is equal to A minus P, which is our accurate amount minus the principal amount. So we would have 8,542.968 minus principal amount is 6,000. And that compound interest will be equal to $2,542.96. All right, so our next question it says an item of furniture originally valued at $1,000 depreciates by 12% each year. What is the expected value after 3 years? All right, so we need to find the depreciation of the item. So 12%, so we know we can subtract 12 from 100, which would give us 88. Times that now by the 1,000 for 1. We're able to divide our zeros, and so our answer will be 880, and this will be year 1, right? Trying to find now that now for year 2, and our figure would be 774.4. The year 2 are seeing that depreciation is reduced, so we realize that the price would be lower depreciated each year, right? It says that the vehicle depreciates by 12% each year. So we realize that for year 1 it depreciates by 12, year 2 it depreciates by another 12%. All right, it can be, however, that each year the cost of the item depreciates by a separate percentage, but the question, however, gave us that it depreciated by same 12% each year. All right, so what we were able to do, the furniture costing $1,000. After year 1, we saw it depreciated by 12%, giving a value of $880. All right, in reaching the second year, we saw that it depreciated to $774.4, $0.4, and in the third year it depreciated by another 12%, leaving that price of $681.47. All right, so we're going to look now on another question, which says a company advertises the cash price of a computer at $58,000. Ooh, not at 58%, but at $58,000 if it is bought on hire purchase. The customer must pay down 10% of the cash price and then 12 monthly installment of $364. Calculate the higher purchase price of the item. All right, so we need to find out what is 10% of the 58,000. Right, but cancel our zeros in the denominator with those in the numerator. Will be 10 times 580 give us 5,800. With that now, we know hire purchase, HP, is equal down payment plus outstanding balance times interest. Right? So our deposit is 10% of cash price. Outstanding balance is equal to 12 months times 364. All right, so for each of the months you'll pay $364. All right, so we calculated our deposit, which would be 5,800 plus our outstanding balance, which is equal to 12 times 364. That now is equal to $10,168. That would be our higher purchase price. All right, looking now on our next question, it says the marked price of a freezer is 78,000. There is a discount of 15% for cash payment. To obtain the freezer on hire purchase, a deposit of $5,950 and 18 monthly installment of $4,002. Where to calculate the cash price, total amount paid if bought on hire purchase, and the difference between the cash price and the hire purchase price as a percentage of the market price. So realize that we got a 15% discount on cash price. We're paying by cash price. So the market price equal to 78,000. So our hire purchase is equal to, all right, so it asks us, hire purchase is equal to the 5,950 plus the 18 months times the 4,002. All right, and that would be our hire purchase price, giving us the total of 77,980. This is what you would pay for hire purchase, right? We know that cash price is equal to 15% discount. We're going to work that 85 over 100 times 378. And if we're paying by cash, we will pay $63,300. Right. So what they ask us now to do is to find the difference between the cash price and the higher purchase price. So cash price is this, higher purchase price is that. We're gonna say 7, 8, 9, 6, 8. We get 7,686. We're now going to find out a percentage of the mark price. So we found the difference between our purchase and the cash price. All right, it's 11,680. But mark price, which is 7, 8, times down by 100. We get 14.97, or you can run it up to 15%. Okay. All right. So what we are able to do, find the purchase price, which is down payment times the monthly installment of $4,002, and the 18 months. The cash price is where there was a 15% discount, and we of the mark price, so we'll pay 6,300. We're also asked to find a difference between the high purchase price and the cash price, and then we'll find that as a percentage of the mark price. Our next question now asks us, it says, if 12 men completed a painting job in 5 days, how long will it take 15 men to complete the same job given that they work at the same rate? For this formula, we will use the concept of job done equal number of workers times the time taken, right? So we realize that they did that job, right? And how many workers did we have? We had 12 workers, and they completed that in 5 days. So the job done was 60, right? So if we want to find the time taken by 15 men, what we need to say is job done, we're able to complete that job, divided by the number of workers. Because right here, 12 men took 5 days to complete that job. If you want to find the time that for the same job and how much time they will take, what we need to do is divide the job that was completed by the number of men who will complete that job, right? Because they will still basically use that same amount of task to complete within a time. What we need to divide now is 60 divided by 15. 60 divided by 15, and that would be equal to 4. Because time can be 4 days. Then this time, 12 men took 5 days, so 15 men will take 4 days. All right, thank you for joining us in this video in which we looked on a few questions as it relates to consumer arithmetic. Please join us on our future videos in which we'll look on other concepts. Thank you and peace. So our next question says, a house which cost 2 mil was later sold for 1,600,000, where to find the percentage loss. All right, so loss is equal to the cost price minus the selling price. All right, so the item cost 2 million minus 1 and 600,000. You know that's equal to 400,000. The loss percentage now equal to loss over CP times 100%. Quite similar to the profits. Canceling our zeros. We get 40 over 2 also equal to 20%. All right, moving on to our next question now. Which asks us, it says, an item of jewelry marked at $900 is discounted by 20% for cash payment. For to calculate the discount and the price that